Failures in leadership have killed more businesses than any single other business problem. But I want to take you back to a time when a failure in leadership actually killed me. Picture this. You're flying in the back seat of the second of two F-14s. As you gaze out of your canopy, you feel a little uncomfortable because the lead aircraft isn't where they normally belong. Normally, they were directly abeam of you in what's called a combat spread. And the reason is this way each of you are able to clear each other's six, meaning you're able to check behind the other aircraft and make sure nobody's sneaking up, simply by looking over your shoulder. But today, you're in what's called a high trail formation, which means the lead aircraft is in front of you and slightly below you. And in this formation, you're able to clear their six, but there's nobody around who can clear yours. And the reason you're in this formation, that had not been used, by the way, since the Korean War, and the reason you're in this formation is you're brand new executive officer. And for those of you unfamiliar with the Navy, that's the number 2 ranked officer in the squadron, the equivalent to a senior or executive vice president. So you're brand new XO who had just joined the squadron, had never flown with you in a tactical situation before, and in fact, hadn't flown tactically in quite some time. Change your standard operating procedure from the mission briefing from combat spread to high trail. So there you are, 25,000 feet, doing about 480 knots. You're on a strike escort mission, meaning your job is to proceed to bombers into the target area, make sure there's no one loitering around who might want to ruin their day. And you get the call from the radar controller. 2 bandits, 170, 50 miles, Angels Ford. In that brief transmission, you know you have 2 confirmed bad guys south of you, 50 miles, 4,000 feet above sea level, which in this particular part of the world means you're skimming right along the ground. The pilots push the throttles forward while you and the radar intercept officer and the lead aircraft start working the radar. Now the good news, you're flying the F-14A Tomcat. This aircraft was made famous in Top Gun and has the most powerful airborne fire control radar ever put in the sky. Even to this day, we can routinely reach out and touch people well in excess of 100 miles. So 50 miles should be easy. Bad news, this extremely powerful radar, you're going to have to point directly at the largest target around, Mother Earth itself. You see, the bad guys know, by coming in low to the ground, when we point our radar down, that massive amount of radar energy is going to reflect off the Earth. And it's going to inundate our target screen, and it's going to pop up with a bunch of ghost images, some of which may be there, but most of which are not. And again, your job, as well as the lead Rio's job, to filter them out. So you quickly go to work, start working your radar screen. Meanwhile, the controller is counting down the miles. 45 miles, 40, no joy. You don't have them on radar. 35, 30. The hairs on the back of your head start standing on end. Yes, I actually had hair back then. 25 miles, 20, 15, 10, 5. And then I heard that word you never wanted to hear before without having a confirmed radar lock, merge. It means when the controller's radar screen, your image and the bad guy's image have become one and merged. And they can no longer help you out. So you immediately start looking over your shoulder, literally looking over your shoulder. Your head comes up from the cockpit, you check your right side, you look high, you scan low, you look left, you look high, you look low. There you see him, 7 o'clock low, you get on the radio, break left, 7 o'clock low, 2 bandits. Immediately your body weighs well over 1,000 pounds. The pilot's doing a hard 6G turn, trying to get them to overshoot so you can reverse and possibly get into an advantageous situation. Unfortunately, the very wiliness that had these guys coming in low to the ground also had them positioning their aircraft in the perfect firing position. You find yourself very quickly running out of speed and running out of ideas. So you do the only thing any self-respecting naval aviator does in such a desperate, no-win situation. You die a glorious death. Fortunately, this is a training mission. You hear, knock it off from the controller, RTB, return to base. Pilots pull the throttle back to a more sedate speed, turn the noses north. You tuck the tail between your legs, and we're going back to El Centro to debrief. I gotta be honest, we were not happy campers. see, our boss came in, he hadn't done the job in years and years and years, and changed the way we normally do things, and he got us killed. Now, this wasn't the first time we were killed in training. In fact, you train for that very reason, so you can learn those lessons. Sweat in training so you don't bleed in combat. But we lost this time not because of any reason other than this failure in leadership. And since that day, I have worked with hundreds of companies across this country, and I see the same exact scenario happen time and time again. Where bosses, managers, owners who haven't done the job in a long time, haven't worked in the field or worked in the shop, are telling the people who do it every single day how to do it. And it comes to the same disastrous results. And it has the same effect. It kills morale. You see, what we want out of our leaders is really simple. We want to survive. Now, right now, sitting in this beautiful room, gorgeous Palm Desert, you're thinking survival is not a big deal. We live in an abundant society today. We've only had that abundance for about 200 years. Prior to that, every summer you were concerned with what you put away for the winter, where survival was at stake. So since man first crawled out of the mud and walked upright, and we started coming together in little tribes, we chose our leaders because of their ability to allow us to survive. I got out of the service in 1993, and I thought, got my first job in management, I thought to myself, this should be really easy. I mean, I've led many combat. 111 days at sea going down Desert Shield. Talk about difficult conditions. This is going to be a piece of cake. There could have been more wrong in my life. I found myself having to hold people's hands, having to debate. Let me see, how many of you managers have teams who work for you? Hold your hand up if you have a team that works for you. Great, thank you. How many of you go home and complain because you say to yourselves, I tell them once, how come I have to keep telling them time and time again? Yeah, I found myself doing the same thing. And what was really confusing for me is I had all this leadership training, but it wasn't working. And I thought to myself, what's going on here? And I realized that although I had a lot of leadership training, there was a lot of theory, there was no system for leadership. See, I have a degree in engineering. And as engineers, we have engineers in the room? Yes? Let me see. Okay, good. We got a few engineers. We're taught what? We're taught the value of repeatable processes that yield consistent results. But there was no system for leadership that would yield consistent results. So I had to figure out how do I do this. As engineers, we're also taught that if we want to understand the system, we have to look at the extremes. So let's look at the extremes of team members. So let me take you back in time once again. This time we're going to go farther back in time. We're going to go back 45 years. I'm 13 years old. I grew up in Philadelphia. My father was a school teacher. My mom had the most important job in the world. She raised my two brothers and I. That meant that I grew up in a household with an abundance of love and not a lot of money. So at 13, which was the legal age I could get working papers in Pennsylvania at the time, 13, I knew if I wanted anything, I had to get a job. So I got my first job. I was a busboy in a Chinese restaurant. I was excited. I was one of those cool guys with the plastic bins clearing the dishes, right? I mean, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be somebody. The problem is, because we didn't have a lot of money, I really didn't know what a busboy did. And let's be honest, 13 years old, I might have been oblivious to the world even if we had a lot of money. I had no idea what I was getting into. So I show up for my first day of work. I report in. They say, okay, here's what we want you to do. When people are done, here's your plastic bin. Go to the table, clear it off. Go into the kitchen, put it in the sink. So, service starts, and I'm just standing there by the service station. Waitress comes up to me and goes, fill the water glasses. I'm sorry, I didn't know. temperature, I go out to the tables, I fill the water glasses, I go back to the service station, I stand there. Another waitress comes up to me and says, they're done their soup dishes, can you clear those dishes? I thought I had to wait till the meal was over. Okay, off I go, grab my bin, put the soup dishes in there, go to the kitchen, put them away. Back here again. You see, I didn't know what to do. I did what I was told, no more, no less. Today I call that the robot. We put in data, we tell it what to do. I have a Roomba at home, right? I say clean on Tuesdays at 4 a.m. No, I don't, trust me. My wife would kill me. Right? The robot does it, it goes back to its station. That's me. That's one end of our work continuum. We have all had that person working for us, have we not? Do exactly what they're told, no more, no less. Let's move to the other end of the continuum. I suspect everybody sitting in this room lives over here. What's this look like? You come to work early. You're tackling problems that your boss doesn't know exist and solving them before they even become aware of it. You're eagerly helping out your teammates because you know what needs to get done and you love what you do. You enjoy it thoroughly. You're meant to do this. This is you. This is the way it was for those of us who were flying at the time. It was absolutely exhilarating. Long days meant nothing. So now we've defined our continuum. Let me see a show of hands here. How many people want a team of me at 13, the robot? Come on. Is there a hand? No, no. Yeah, I thought there was a hand up in the back. All right. What about over here? Who wants you as a team member? Who wants to replicate yourself? Some people don't want them as a team member. What's up with that? No, don't you like yourself? That's not me. That's another talk. All right. So we now know what our objective is as leaders. We want to move people along the continuum from robot, and we want to create a full team of self-actualized individuals. Self-actualized, that's an interesting phrase. It was first coined by Abraham Maslow. Abraham Maslow was a psychologist. He was what was referred to as a humanist, and his whole focus was on healthy human behavior as opposed to aberrant. And what he was really fascinated was he noticed there was a handful of people, a small percentage of people out there who were doing what they loved to do, what they were meant to do, what they were born to do. But most of us were not. He wanted to know why is it that some people were so lucky that they got to do that. And so he developed what I'm sure all of you are familiar with, which was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And in short, what Maslow's theory states is that we need to go through these lower level needs that are external to ourselves before we turn inside and look to see what we really want. And those lower level needs are survival needs. They're all built around us surviving. So, our employees, our team members, they want leaders that will help them survive. So what is our goal? What is our strategy as a leader? Is it to help them survive? Or, like everything else we do in business, we want to have higher standards than our customers. And who's our customer as a team, as a leader? So shout it out. Who's our customer? Our team. Exactly. Thank you. Our team. So we need to have higher standards than they do. So they want us just simply to survive. We want them to thrive. Not just survive, to thrive. And in fact, in my leadership boot camp, we talk about how survival in the wilderness equates to survival in the office place. So let's go through what this looks like. So the first level of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy is called physiological needs. We have to meet our physiological needs. We have to have food, water, and regulate our body temperature. Let's test this for a second. I'm going to snap my fingers. We're all magically going to be out in the desert there. Now, middle of nowhere, with just what you have on you right now. What's the first thing you're concerned with? Water. Absolutely. Now, this time of year is water. If this was July, you'd want to get out of the heat because you're going to die from heat exhaustion faster than you're going to die from thirst. Water, regulation of body temperature, then food. How's that translated in business? Well, how do we meet people's physiological needs in business? What do we need to do as leaders to meet their physiological needs? Anybody? Bueller? No. Okay, we hire them, right? That's today in the abundant society we live in. When we hire people, we meet their physiological needs. Check, we're done with that level. Not so fast. Start with the end in mind. What is our absolute goal? What is our objective as leaders? We just said it a minute ago. Can anybody test your step? What? Thrive. We want people to thrive, which means we want them to be self-actualized. So we want to hire people that when we get rid of all of those barriers that keep them from thriving, that they want to thrive in the environment we put them in. Last in the world we want is invest in somebody, and then 3 or 4 years later when they're going like, I feel really good about myself and I want to do what I want to do, and it's not work for you, right? I want to become an artist, I want to become a king. So we need to hire people that are going to meet those needs, that are going to be met by that. So we want to make sure when we're hiring, most of us hire to hard skills. We look, can they do the job? Can they change a tire? Can they make the tire? Can they run a heavy piece of equipment? Whatever it might be, we look at hard skills. But that's the last thing we should look at. Oh, they need to be able to do the skills. But if they're a little short, you can teach them. But if they don't share your values, and I'll talk about more about values in a few minutes, but if they don't share your values, values are how we make decisions. If they don't share your values, they're not going to be comfortable in your company culture. And they have to share your purpose. As businesses, we all have a purpose that's outside of ourselves. It's not to make money. It's to provide a service and value to somebody else. And if they don't get passion by providing that service, so when you're interviewing, we need to be talking about why does the company exist? What purpose outside of yourself does the company serve? When I was in the moving and storage business, our purpose was to reduce stress. We talked about that in the interviews. We hired people who were excited about the fact that they were helping other people. It wasn't a job for them. It became almost a calling. I know it's silly, right? Moving is a calling. It wasn't our movers. It was helping other people reduce stress. So we do that, and now we've got the first level of that. The second level we have to meet is safety and security. Now, safety and security in the wilderness, of course, we protect ourselves with weapons, we build a house, protect ourselves, because when we have safety and security, we're better able to meet our physiological needs. In the workplace, the first thing that most people come to mind is OSHA, right? You gotta be physically safe, you gotta maintain a safe environment. And that's absolutely true. If you don't maintain a safe environment, then people will pull into themselves because they think, you don't care about me, and I'm going to do whatever I need to protect myself, because this is more important than anything else, right? Other than getting food. And they're going to do the minimum to get by, because they want to survive, but they want to stay safe. But I'm more to focus on the second half of that, security. This is where I see most businesses fail. What does it mean by security? We're talking about job security. And there are 5 requirements that you must meet in order to have job security. The first is you need to have a culture of corporate growth. Your company needs to want to grow. Now, some of you right now are going, of course we want to grow. I was in telecommunications sale, which is my first job out of the Navy. I remember asking owners, as I was interviewing them to see whether my phone system would be a good fit for them, to what are your future plans? And they'd say things like, I don't want to grow. I used to be bigger. It was harder. I like it just the way I am. The trouble is, business is pushing a boulder up the hill. You can't sit still. There is no stagnant. There is no stationary. It takes energy to hold that boulder in place, and eventually you get tired. The boulder starts to roll down, it starts to degrade. Hey, I don't need to grow. I don't need to come into the business all that often, which then means processes start to break down because nobody's inspecting them. And then service delivery breaks down, and then customers leave. It happens all the time. The beauty is, if you just want to stay still, how much more energy does it take to push that boulder up the hill? Great momentum, just go that way. You don't need dynamic growth, you don't need fast growth, you just need growth. And when people see growth, they understand they have a future. The second thing they need to be able to do is they need to have clear, defined job paths. They need to know how they're going to grow in that future. Then, you need to tell them what you expect of them. So how many small business mom and pops do we have here? Just raise your hand. Okay. The big challenge is large companies always have great job descriptions. And small mom and pops tend not to because we do everything. But job descriptions, if they're accurate, tell people what you expect of them. And when we tell people what we expect of them, they tend to do that. So we need to have good job description. We need to have accurate metrics. We tell them what we want them to do. We tell them how much of it they need to do. That sets the basement. When you give people metrics, they tend to meet those too. Now the beauty is when you tell people what they need to do and how much of it they need to do, not only does it set the minimum standard, and if you do it right, you've set that standard so that you're profitable, right? You want to set standards, you're not going to be profitable. But it also gives you an objective gauge to know who are your go-getters. Because there are people who are exceeding that. They're either doing more than you ask them to do in terms of what they do, bringing more value to you. The more value they bring, the more you can afford to pay them. Or they do a more quantity of what you've asked them to do than everybody else, which not only does it bring more value, but it gives you an idea of how I can improve my processes. Because if they're doing it better, why isn't everybody else? We can look at that and figure out how people get better. Now, if we're doing all that, we have to do the last thing we require, which is train people. And I mean formal written training. Not follow me around for a couple of weeks. Because the problem with that is you're not going to see everything. And all training builds on itself. I didn't get into the aircraft, and the first time I flew, I took on 6 Soviet bombers jamming us with radar and all this noise and stuff. No, my first time in the aircraft, all we did was fly in the pattern, take off and landing. Basics. Every job in your organization has basic skills, intermediate skills, and advanced skills. Teach people how to do that. When I was at the moving company, we did that, and what happened was people started getting better. We changed people's mind from getting a job at the moving company to creating a career. A career path said to them, if you want to get off the truck, get in the office, you need to become a lead mover, and we gave you the skills to do that. All right, so that gets us through the first 2 levels. The next level we have to get through is love and belonging. Now, I got to be candid, I'm not a very touchy-feely guy. That's just not who I am. So I kind of bristle with love and belonging. I like to think of it as being part of a group, being part of a team. As human beings, we are pack animals. We are social creatures. And whereas we're not apex predators, on our own, we're going to die out there together. Look what we have done. We have literally changed the world to suit us. Beavers have nothing on us, right? You folks in this room right now, today, represent, in my opinion, the pinnacle of that. You go out there into virgin areas, you level the ground, and you create civilization. You create civilization. That's what we do as a team. We have a desire and a need that's anthropologically based to be part of a team. Now, if we've done our jobs right at this point, we've hired people who share our values. Why am I so high on values? Groups come together for 2 reasons. Either common purpose or common values. And values are how we make decisions. So if you want your team to make good decisions that are aligned with decisions you would make, hire them to have the same values you have, and they'll make decisions in line with those values. They may not be 100% right, but you can correct them. You're not going to get this because they understand the value, as long as you speak to how this supports your values. The second thing is a common purpose. We talked about what's your higher purpose. Your team's coming together. You have a higher purpose. Now you need to create a culture that supports that higher purpose. You need to create a culture that embraces that higher purpose. So what do we do with culture? Culture is language, things we talk about. How many of you have idioms, jargon that you use in your industry? What do those mean? When I was in moving, one of the things we talked about all the time was we didn't move stuff. How many people think movers move stuff? Come on, nobody thinks we move stuff? Yeah, we move stuff. No, we don't. We move possessions. How imagine for a second you're sitting in your house, strangers are in there touching everything you own. And you hear one guy say to another, hey, why don't you get that junk upstairs? Language is important. Go get their possessions upstairs. What's the language in your culture? Does it reflect your values? Go through and look at what you say to each other every single day. And if something can be misconstrued as being out of your values, come up with a new phrase for it. Our celebrations. We need to be able to celebrate our values. What do you do formally to celebrate? In the military, we had this thing called the dining out. The dining out was this formal dinner. It sounded terrible. The first time we went to one, they give you a book this thick with rules of engagement, all the rules you can and can't do. You can't drink without permission. You can't go to the bathroom without permission. You can't speak without permission. It sounds awful until you go to one. I got to tell you, I've never had so much fun because breaking the rules is half the fun. But the military culture is about following rules and regulations. So our celebration highlighted that, but in an amusing and fun way. Well, how do you celebrate your culture? What do you do intentionally? This creates the bond. The last thing you've already done, hopefully, the training. The more difficult training you go through, the more we stick together. Do we have any former military in here? Stand up if you're a veteran. Nobody? Come on, stand up. That's okay. Do we have any special forces people? Any chance? We do! Fantastic. One more time. 3rd Battalion? Ranger Battalion. So we have a Ranger here. All right. Rangers are tight. Rangers are probably tighter, more to, I don't have one, don't make me buy you a drink. Do you have any challenge going on you? Oh man, good thing I'm not a Ranger, right? They're a tight bunch. Why? How easy is it to become a Ranger? It's not. It's very hard to become a Ranger. The more difficult it is to go through the training, the tighter the group becomes. Now I'm not suggesting you have a 1 out of 10 success rate like Rangers and SEALs. But it shouldn't be fog and mirror get the job. In fact, anyone familiar with Zappos? Zappos shoes online? Zappos is a company who started 20 years ago. Tony Hsieh started it, now owned by Amazon. And their whole culture is built around customer service. Everybody gets a job at Zappos, goes through the same 6-week training, including 40 hours on the phone working with customers, because their customers is everything. And they all understand that. At the end of that training, they're given what's called the offer. And the offer is simple. If you don't like us and our culture after all this training, we'll give you 1 month severance. So depending on, you could be a chief marketing officer, you're going to get 1 month severance to leave, because we only want people here who apply. What do you do with your culture? That creates that sense of love and belonging. Now, when you have a group, it makes you safer, right? Because there is safety in numbers. If we have a group, we're better able to meet our physiological needs, again, out in the wilderness, because we can divide and conquer the workload. So each level supports the one below it. The next level above that is esteem. This is the one where everybody drops the ball across the board. Because we want to be nice. There are 4 things we need to do on a regular basis in order to uphold people's esteem. So what do I mean by esteem? First of all, I'm not talking about self-esteem. I already told you I'm not in this very touchy-feely. How you feel about yourself. That's important, don't get me wrong. But if you do everything else right, you can look inside and you'll start realizing, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm talking about the esteem of your group. Because if we're a tribe in the wilderness trying to survive, and I'm not pulling my load, what are you going to do? You're going to keep me off the island, aren't you? Yeah. So I need to know, we all need to know that the group appreciates our efforts. Has anybody worked at a company where they didn't feel like their efforts were being appreciated? It's not very comfortable, is it? In fact, it's one of the top 5 reasons people leave is they don't feel appreciated. Because you're not upholding their esteem needs. So, 4 things to do that. Number 1, I think this is probably one of overlook things that really is so simple. Have one-to-one meetings with your subordinates. And when I talk about one-to-one meetings, I am not talking about hey, you got a minute, come into my office. The value of the one-to-one meeting is not the information you get out of it. If you go online and Google search how to do a one-to-one meeting and why to do a one-to-one meeting, you'll come up with all sorts of gobbledygook about information you'll get from the meeting. None of that's false. It's just not the reason. And if you don't understand the reason for doing something, you're going to do it wrong. The reason to have a one-to-one meeting is you're going to give up the most precious thing you have for that other person. What's the most precious thing each and every one of us has? Any idea? Time. Right. They say time is money. Oh, if I blow $1,000 in the casino, I can get that back. If I blow a day, it's gone forever. So when you have a one-to-one meeting, you want to make sure you schedule that one-to-one meeting. So you're saying subliminally, I value you. You're important to me. So important that I'm going to take an hour out of my day to sit down and get to know you better. That's totally different than if I just said, hey, do you got a minute? I got some free time between meetings. I just want to squeeze you in. Right? Totally different message. Schedule your one-to-one meeting. The newer the team member is to your organization, the more frequent you want to do this. I'm not a proponent of once a week with everybody. Oh my God, you're going to spend all your day doing one-to-one meetings. Right? You're not going to let them do their job, and you're not going to get a chance to do your other jobs. That's part of your job. At the beginning, do it frequently. As they become more integrated into your organization, less so. I think once a month to once a quarter. Again, that's up to you. Help you do that. But do it on a regular basis and be consistent. Don't play favorites. You want to recognize people, and you want to do it properly. Most people say, hey, good job. Hey, by the way, good job, everybody. For what? We recognize behaviors we want to have repeated. I'll say that one more time. We recognize behaviors we want to have repeated. So there's a very specific formula for recognition. I call it laser-guided praise. In the early days of air aviation warfare, we wanted to put bombs on target. We didn't have good accuracy. So what we do is we would carpet bomb. Maybe you've heard of Dresden. Dresden was a city in Germany during World War II that had munitions plants. We wanted to destroy it. We couldn't get them accurately, so we just leveled the city with 500-pound bombs. It's called carpet bomb. Just a swap like a carpet. Bam! To this day, it's controversial because of the civilian casualties. Nowadays, we can put a weapon using a laser in the exact window we need to put it in with precision. The phrase should be that precise. Here's what it is. L, limit it to the person or people who have done the behavior you want to have repeated. It doesn't do me any good to say, good job, team, when, what's your name, sir? Rob was doing all the work today. Because what happens? First of all, the rest of you just got praised for not working very well. I just rewarded that. Dopamine goes off in your head, bing. You go, huh, this is all it takes to get recognition. Rob, on the other hand, knows he was the only one working. And he goes, oh my God, everyone got credit for my hard work. He puts his hand on the throttles, and he pulls them back. Because he doesn't have to work that hard either. Or, because Rob has integrity, he's not going to do that. Rob's Sunday routine changes. He's not just sitting around with the wife drinking a cup of coffee anymore. He's on Indeed. He's looking for a new job because he doesn't feel appreciated. That's right. So, limited to the person or people who did the behavior. A, about one of your core values. You need to reinforce your core values. They are not just words on the wall and a web page. If you don't talk about them at least once a day somehow, if I walked up to one of your team members and asked them what your core values, can you tell me that? Then they're not core values. Talk about your core values. Rob, you did such a great job showing empathy. Maybe that's one of our core values, empathy. Or customer service. You did such a great job how we have customers. That was great customer service. I talked about core value. S, specific to the behavior. This is where the behavior comes in. You want repeating. You know, when they were on the phone with you complaining, you didn't interrupt once. They were on for 15 minutes. I listened to that call. And you never once interrupted them, even though they had all sorts of misperceptions about what happened. You let them vent. That was fantastic. Now, I'm doing this in public. Everybody around is hearing this going, this is what it takes to get attention. And they are, real time. Do it as soon and as close to the event as possible. It certainly wouldn't do me any good to go, do you remember last 4th of July you had the difficult customer? Means nothing. There's a guided prayers. You need to be able to delegate to people properly. And last but not least, this is the hardest one, you have to hold people accountable. You absolutely have to hold people accountable. And this is the thing that everybody falls short on. Why? Because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. But let me ask you a question. Who do we hold accountable? If I ask a 5-year-old to mow my front lawn, first of all, I should put in jail, giving them a powerful piece of equipment, let's be honest. But let's assume I get away with that. And they don't keep perfect straight roads that overlap, and there's grass that's still long. Do I hold them accountable? Do I punish that 5-year-old for failing to do that? Heck no. I mean, if I'm stupid enough to make it, I probably would, but we shouldn't, right? Because they're not capable yet of mowing the lawn properly. No, if they're 12 years old, it's a different conversation. I might make them go back and redo it, hold them accountable. 5-year-old is going to be appreciative. We hold people accountable for things that we expect them to be able to do. Conversely, we don't hold them accountable for things that we don't expect them to do. So when we don't hold people accountable, what we're really saying is, I never expected you to be able to do it anyway. So we need to hold people accountable. In the military, when we hold people accountable, we actually have a page in the book. It's called the page 13 entry. There's a few things that need to be in there. One, what is it? Where are they deficient? Be as specific as possible. Where are they deficient? Two, what do they need to do to become undeficient? What resources are available? Those resources can be training, those resources can be personnel, talk to your chief, talk to your supervisor, whatever. Four, this is the one that's almost always missed. What are the consequences for failure? And how long do you have to do it? If I don't tell you in those uncertain terms, specifically the consequences of failure, and if that means termination, you don't say, if you don't get this fixed by July, you're going to have a career-enhancing opportunity. What the heck does that mean? It means you don't have the guts to say, you're going to be terminated. Now here's the beauty. If I am that crystal clear on where you failed, what the metrics need to be, etc., when you need to do it by, here's the help. I check in with them periodically, like once a week, to see how they're coming. Right? I'm not just letting them struggle on their own. And I tell them the consequences for failure, and they fail. Aren't they really volunteering for those consequences? If they know what they need to do, and they don't do it, it's like saying, hey, go ahead. You have an obligation to the rest of your team to let them go. And I promise you, when you do that, the rest of your team is going to look at you and say, what took you so long? How does this all come together? Last job I had in the Navy was what they call a legal officer. So, unfortunately, my job wasn't only flying. It was the greatest job I had right now, and I would have been like, amazing. That's all I had to do was fly. But I had to run the squadron, help run the squadron. The job as legal officer meant that when people got written up for failing to do anything, or any problem at all, any sort of negative feedback, it came across my desk, and I'd have to investigate it and then make a recommendation for anything from as high as courts-martial, which was actually a criminal act. Fortunately, I only had to do that once in my career, to a simple counseling session with me. Yeah, me at 58 years old, not a big deal. But I got to tell you, my late 20s, all the training I had, how to counsel people, was not on that list. And I remember I got a report one day from the sailor who had just joined the squadron. He was an electronics technician, and of course, we'd spent $100,000 training him how to fix the electronics, and what do we do as soon as he joins the fleet? We put him in the first lieutenant's division. For those of you who don't know the Navy, that's our way of saying he was a janitor. That's right, hundreds of thousands of dollars to have him sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, dusting the desk, and the most glorious of all the first lieutenant's job, cleaning the head, the bathroom. And I get a report that he failed. It was filthy. The problem was we're doing 18-hour days at this particular point in time. We're getting ready for deployment. And everyone's working hard, and everybody's temper is short, and everybody's fuse is short. And I get this report that he was derelict in duty. That was the actual write-up. I called into my office, and I remember thinking, how am I going to get through this guy? I mean, I get what he's going through. If after 2 years of flight training, they made me a janitor, I wasn't going to be happy. I could relate. What am I going to do? And then I remembered my dad, as you recall, was a teacher. He taught in Kensington. Those of you who may not know Philadelphia, it's one of the worst neighborhoods of Philadelphia. There's no culture of education. In fact, there's a lot of stress and pressure to drop out of high school and get a job. And he had to connect with the kids. He taught for 40 years there. And I asked him once, how do you do that? He said, you have to connect what they don't want to do with what's important to them. Connect the dots. And this went through my mind as I'm getting ready for this counseling session with the sailors who comes in and I say to him, I want you to picture this for a second. Imagine you're not in the first lieutenant's division. You're in a shop and you want to be. It's the end of the day. You're working 18-hour days for several days on end. You're tired. You're cranky. You just want to wash up, clean up, go back to the barracks. Where you know you're going to wake up tomorrow and shoot a Groundhog Day. You're going to do it all over again. By the way, this is exactly what deployment's going to be like when we leave. So it's exactly the same. You go into the head, it's filthy. There's no toilet paper. The toilet paper there is crumbled up on the floor. There's stains, the sinks are a mess, the mirrors aren't clean. You think, nobody cares about me. And you go back to the barracks and you're disgruntled and you toss and turn all night because you wondered why you enlisted in the first place. So you wake up the next morning and you're not feeling any better. And you come into the squadron and you're working in the shop and you're thinking about all this and you miss something critical. And that day, I take the aircraft up, or the skipper takes the aircraft up, and something goes wrong. Horribly wrong. And we end up riding that Martin Baker ejection seat. How would you feel? On the other hand, let's take that whole scenario over again. Instead, when you walk into that headache, listen to the music, ding! That little shine, because Mr. Clean himself was there. And all the rest of this stuff goes away because you think, all right, I know it's a long day, but people care about me. I feel good about myself. You have the ability to affect your shipmates in a way nobody else can. Let me ask you one more thing. You keep it that clean. The chief, who uses that bathroom, he comes in and he sees it and he goes, oh my God, I know he hates doing this. I want him in my shop. Do you think you'll get out there faster doing it halfway? Or doing the best job you can. You need to bloom where you're planted. I sent him on his way. This was 30 years ago. And if I'm sitting in your seat right now, I'm thinking to myself, how does this guy even remember this? And you're absolutely right. I wouldn't, except 9 months later. We're coming back from deployment. We stop in Hawaii to pick up our tigers. And no, tigers are not being striped animals out in the jungle. See, on the way from Hawaii to San Diego, you get to have friends and or family ride the ship with you. And I had a tiger this year that I'd never had one before. My tiger was my dad. My dad has come to work with me. This is going to be really cool. Pull into port. We've been at sea for about 3 weeks at this point. So I did what every sailor does first night in port. I'm not going to describe it to you. Use your imagination. I promise it won't come close. What I will tell you is, I didn't get any sleep that night. And I was late to the airport to pick up my dad. They had rented a Jeep. I pulled up to the airport. Oh no, there's nobody around. Somebody told me they were at the charter terminal. So I had to find a charter terminal, go all the way around the airport to the charter terminal. By the time I get there, I see 3 people standing there. My dad, 2 other people. The sailor I was just talking about, and his wife. I say hi to my dad. He gets in the Jeep. He looks at me and goes, man, that guy has a lot of respect for you. He credits you with saving his career. I don't understand. He never worked for me. I never ran the shop. I knew him from the squadron to say hello. I didn't know that. I didn't remember this incident I just described to you. But my dad turned around and says, he told me the story I just told you from the sailor's perspective. He said it completely changed his outlook on the Navy and changed his career. That is the power of leadership. That is the power of holding people accountable. Do it from the heart. You care about your people. None of this matters, however, if you don't have the 3 essential qualities of leadership. Number 1, integrity. Integrity is absolutely the only real quality of leadership. In fact, Dwight Eisenhower said integrity is the absolute quality of leadership. Without that, nothing else is possible. But integrity alone is not enough, because your integrity will be tested. It will be challenged. And the challenge always comes in the same form. It's going to appear to you that if you maintain your integrity, you're going to lose something personal. It's going to cost you money, it's going to cost you aggravation, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you something of value that you don't want to give up. And the only way you're going to be able to pass that test is if you have the second of the 3 qualities. Courage. You need the courage to maintain your integrity. Because if you fail to maintain your integrity, the rest of your team is going to know that, and they won't trust you ever again. The reason Luke ended up being the XO, ended up actually being one of my top leaders, is when he walked in that squadron for a debrief, he said, sorry, I will never do that again. And he never did. He never won. He actually said, I will never even run a briefing again. And he let us do all the mission planning, even when he was on the float. We didn't believe it at first, but over time we learned to respect what he said. And he had a saying he used to say, he said, do right things and things will happen right. He was talking about integrity. But where does courage come from? If you talk to anybody who's earned a Medal of Valor, what they'll tell you is they didn't do it for glory. They did it for their team. They did it for others. Lao Tzu, founder of Taoism, said, when you are loved deeply by others, it gives you strength. But when you love others deeply, it gives you courage. So that's the 3rd and final quality, caring. Care about your people. Have the courage to do the right thing and maintain your integrity. Lead from the heart. And make sure your people don't just survive, but thrive.